three. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you, Mr. Bob and band. Unity of Dallas, this is the Sunday after Easter. And we're here, we're alive, we're healthy, and we have great opportunities in front of us. Are you with me? Yes, sir. We welcome all of you, TV land, everybody, online, internet. We welcome you. We appreciate you. So with that being said, will you join us in the most important thing we can say today? Our opening statement. And let's say it loud. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe. God, the good, the omnipotent. Thank you.
I invite you to all sing together with me. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. Clap your hands and celebrate. The power of love has rolled that stone away. Hey, hey, hey. It's a brand new day. Faith can move a mountain, heart that's so easy. Love can be a fountain pouring over me. Hope can build a future so we can truly see the past is It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. Clap your hands and celebrate. The power of love has rolled that stone away. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Doubts become believing that death can be destroyed. Painful loss and grieving can open us to joy. A dawn of resurrection can chase our fears away. Past is past, free at last. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new day. Clap your hands and celebrate. The power of love and roll that stone away. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day. Hey, 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 it's a brand new day.
Great job, Eric. Thank you so much for bringing us a fun song. I'm Lisa, and I am your chaplain this morning. There's chaplains praying for us now as we have our service, and if you'd like prayer with the chaplain, just check on the website under our chaplain page, our prayer page, and you can opt to have a chaplain pray with you. Now I invite you to say together with me our daily word. Together we say, imagination. I imagine limitless possibilities. And in that spirit of limitless possibilities, I invite you into a time of prayer. If you're comfortable joining me in closing your eyes, softening your gaze, to ease that transition into that inner self as we breathe in the Godness. Breathe in the Godness. And as we relax our breath, we let go of anything that's not apparently good. And that power of imagination, we imagine, we create from that power of being able to see something that might not be apparent to us in the world. If we're living in a place that feels dark, we can imagine the light. The creative mind that created our universe first created the light. We can imagine the light. So I invite you to imagine with me the light surrounding us, warming us, holding us, enlightening us, to imagine new possibilities, to imagine a brand new day, an abundant day, a day full of love, a day full of power, a day full of creativity to create all that we wish to see in our lives and in the universe and everywhere in between. For we are one with the creative mind that created this universe. And as such, we are creators. So we imagine, we love into being all that we wish to see. And we are so very, very grateful for this truth that there's one power and one presence within us, all around us. And we say together, amen.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is, and all is well. Thank you, God.
Not yet. As I was telling you, we have some surprises today. And I want to introduce our person who's going to lead us spiritually, individually, and happily. This special person is contributing editor and feature writer for a variety of publications, often quoted in the newspaper, magazines. This special person, is a co-author of Mission Possible with Brian Tracy and Stephen Covey, and 101 Thoughts for Becoming the Real You with our Alexis Rice. This special person has been a Truth student since 1960, a member of this Unity Church since 1974. This special person is ecstatically married to Randy Sitzman, and they have 2 little Chiweenies and 2 noisy parrots. My special friend, our special friend, our Anne Sadovsky Sitzman.
When Beau is in the room, there's nearly always a surprise. Thank you, Beau, and I love you very much, and welcome to each and every one of you. Today we're going to talk about prosperity, and I'm going to use quite a bit of the book Spiritual Economics. Don't worry, I won't read the entire thing to you, and we want to welcome everyone who's here from home and from far away, and those of you who are out here with us today. Did you receive your penny? Yes. Yes? Okay. Everybody get it in your hands. And if you didn't get a penny, get one out of your pocket or your purse. You at home, try to get a coin in your hands real quickly. Debbie already put hers away. She thought she was going to spend it, okay? And you can spend it later, but here's what we're going to do with it. I'm going to ask you to put it between your palms and just close your eyes for a minute and think about what I am saying and sharing with you right now. Thank you, Father, for this symbol of our ever-increasing prosperity and abundance. And so it is, amen. Just that penny, and let me share with you how that started for me. Randy and I find money on the ground. Not a lot, not a fortune, but pennies, nickels, dimes, once in a while a quarter. We get really excited. And wherever we are and whatever we're doing, we stop and we put it in his hand and mine over it, and we say that little blessing. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of a change in most of our mindsets about prosperity and the things that we say to ourselves. I am a true believer that what we put out, we get back. What we dwell on is how we live our lives. And so blessing that little coin is just, I think, a great way to start this day. So when you think back on your early years, and maybe before you had this metaphysical training that Unity offers in education, think about what prosperity meant to you, the word prosperity. Beau and I are going to share a poem with you about that in a little bit. But I used to ask people in our church, what is your definition of prosperity? And I asked Dr. Donald Curtis that one time, who, for those of you who might be new, was the founder of this church many, many years ago. And without hesitation, he said to me, prosperity is getting what you want when you want it, going where you want to, when you want to, having what you want when you want it, and helping everybody else do the same thing along the way. I love that. And it's stayed in my mind for all of these years. So we know that there is a law of attraction that we draw to ourselves. I always say your subconscious mind, and I always reach back here. I have no idea why I think your subconscious mind is in the back of your head, but that's where I store mine. And so today we're going to talk about how your subconscious mind hears and behaves based on your thoughts and on your words. And the law of attraction, as we just talked about. Again, I'm going to be using this little book, but I want to share with you a quick story. Another minister story. When Ellen Davenport was our minister here years ago, she was speaking at a women's luncheon, and somehow I ended up sitting next to her during the meal and waiting for her to get up to speak. And we were talking about the church, and she said, you know, I'm a little concerned because attendance is up, but giving is down. And I'm concerned about that. And I said, well, why do you think that's happening? She said, well, you know, we publish in the bulletin. And Bob, you'll remember this, nor the rest of you. We used to publish the financial statement on every bulletin every Sunday. And it showed where we are financially and how much we have and what we're doing with it and all that kind of stuff. And it would show back then, in that day, that we had a huge reserve. Tony, we've got a good reserve right now too, don't we? Yes, we do. So I said to her, do you think that people look at that and they say, oh, the church doesn't need my offering. Church doesn't need my tithe. Look at all this money we've got, right? And it really struck my heart because I said to her, I'm not sure it's a good idea to publish that. And I went home and talked to Randy about it. And I said, do you think people look at that and go, I don't have to give this week? And Randy said, you know, I've even thought about that myself. You know, so if I forgot the check, you know, I'm still a check writer. If I forgot the check, or if we were a little tight on meeting a big unexpected payment or something, and I thought, well, maybe we don't have, and she and I, we fleshed that out, and we talked about that. And I want to share with you today that any church always needs your tithes and offerings. We're never that flush. We have an older building. Right now we have storm damage. We support a lot of charities. We give to a lot of people. We want that to continue. We tithe. This church tithes to other places. So what we give is put to good use. Now, I don't want you to think I'm just going to talk about money the whole time. I'm trying to get that out of the way right now, okay? So, but I do want to start with a couple of things from spiritual economics, and it's, if you have not read this book, I've read it 4 times. I have given away at least 10. I got my first one from Bob and Jane Handley. Beau and Stephen know Bob and Jane, some of you do. They gave us, Randy and me, a copy when we first married, so it's been around for a while. So I just want to share a few thoughts from this book. I'm not going to read to you the whole time. There's a great need to establish ourselves in those things that are conducive to prosperity. We need to turn the focus of our attention away from lack, layoffs, limitations, poor economy, stock market, I'm just adding those, okay, and on to the omnipresence of universal substance. We can see it in the everywhere presence of life all through nature, and we can feel it in the endless flow of creative ideas that issues forth from our minds, moments of inspiration and imagination, our song today. So just as there are experiences that are helpful to us, so are there experiences that are wealthful to us. So we're exposing ourselves constantly to wealthful ideas. Think prosperity, think substance, think affluence. Your life will be influenced for good or by ill with the kinds of thoughts and that rule your mind and manifest in your world. So we are manifesting some prosperity today because we have new bright lights. Doesn't it look better? Yes, yes. I said to Randy, do I have on enough makeup? He said, remember the bright lights. Thank you, Randy. Okay. So, is my lipstick bright enough? Yeah, bright enough? Yes, yes, yes. So, and James wants us to know that these are great and there's more coming. He's got some on layaway or something. So we're excited. We're excited about the new bright lights. So this book is about true prosperity, and I love this opening statement. You've been drawn to the book by divine appointment, so it just could be that spiritual economics is an idea whose time has come in your life. So many things that to help us today get focused on an attitude of gratitude, the words that we say to ourselves. And so the truth about substance, about prosperity, is laid out in the Bible several times. And in this book, and one of my very favorites, of course, is the story of the widow whom the prophet Elisha came to her when she was in distress and needed help. And she said that her creditors were after her. She was a widow. Her husband had died. She was poor. She had nothing much. And her 2 young sons could be taken from her to fill the debt to be paid. So the children could be taken and probably put into service some way. So the creditors were pressuring her. Her husband was dead. And Elisha said, "What do you have in your house?" Does anybody remember what she said? Pot of oil. She said, "I have a pot." But she said it this way, "I have only a pot of oil." And Elisha said, "Go and borrow vessels from your friends and neighbors, bring them back, and fill them from your pot of oil." And she filled many, many vessels with oil, which represented prosperity, which she could trade for food and the things that she needed, okay? She was centered in an awareness of poverty by using the word only, and that was the whole point of this. We get plagued by our onlyness. When people say, you have a good job, yes, but I only make this much money. Have you had a good year, but I only, and that's a limiting word. So you got to think about, again, our words, because she was plagued by that. Elisha instructed that widow to broaden her thoughts. This suggests the need to expand the mind to include faith and vision, to try on some new insights for size. And that's why we're here today, to try on some new ones. She poured the oil from one pot, and it flowed so freely, and it filled, and it filled, and it filled, and she ran out of pots. Wonderful story. So, when you find yourself feeling a financial problem, a lack of financial prosperity, ask yourself, what do I have in this house? What do I have in my house? I put in my notes today to think about things that we can do for our prosperity and for others. We can change our language, we can change our thoughts, we can change our prayers, okay? We can clean out our closets. Randy, I promise. I'm going to get to it. We can clean out our closets where we have lovely things that we are no longer using ourselves and put them into circulation. If you take classes from Alexis, she talks about this a lot. And she gathers things. I gather things for a center for women who are getting finished with some drug and alcohol problems. And they live and it's called Nexus, and we have a big clothes closet. I've been on the board several times, and I've supported that clothes closet for 30 years. And I ask people, when you clean out your clothing, things that these women can look for a job in, that they can wear to work, that they can put on their bodies when they come with the shirt on their back. There is one of the buildings is for women with children, so they get to bring their children there. So it's a very worthy cause. Find your cause, something that a place that you can give and get past these thoughts of lack. So on a personal level, from the book, your own prosperity or lack of, it will also reflect the level of your thinking. There's no way around it. Your fortune, good or bad, begins with you. Financial crises, listen to this one, even recessions, depressions, viruses, laid off, all of those things that people deal with. So far as they affect your pocketbook or bank account or job stability, begin with your reactions of faith or fear. There is the greatest freedom in the world to be rid of fear in your life. We've been there. I think everybody been there. We've all been there. And so you don't cause the economic conditions. It's not our thought. Maybe we contribute to it with mass consciousness, maybe, but we don't cause it, though we share in the cumulative cause with our thoughts. But you give them reality by your negative thoughts or conversations about them, and you become synchronized with an energy flow which has a swift influence on your life, like a light switch. Turn it on, turn it off. So he gives some wonderful metaphors with plumbing, light switches, etc. Okay, so in the chapter, Your Fortune Begins With You, he says your prosperity and success and your good fortune certainly may be influenced by changing conditions, but even then, depending upon how you deal with them. However, your good is always deeply rooted in what Jesus called the kingdom of God within. And when he said, it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. You've heard that in many a lesson in many churches. He's saying that your fortune is an unborn possibility of limitless life, and yours is the privilege of giving birth to it. Wow. How very, very powerful is that? So hang with me, because he's just got some beautiful words of wisdom in this chapter. Remember, your fortune, your personal success, your prosperity are not in the hands of some fickle finger of fate, nor are they determined by sudden changes in the economy. The answer is in your conditioned ability to form and shape the ever-present substance of the universe. And then he said, you can change your luck. Whatever it is that you refer to as your luck, you can change that. And then we have a chapter on visualization. And many years ago, even before I came to Unity, I read about visualizing what you want out of life. Picture it happening. Feel it. Feel how you would feel, will feel when you get the things that you need and what you want. So this isn't just referring about money. I want to sort of move away from that. I've done my talk on that, okay? We're not talking about things, cars and jewelry and fancy clothes and houses and all that stuff. We are seeing from a consciousness of ever-present substance, which will become the magnetic force that draws things to you but without any of them ever becoming the object of your life. So in other words, we don't want to get hung up on getting. We don't want to get hung up on having, where it distracts us from sharing and giving and living our lives. But I think that is really beautiful. Jesus said, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. It's not literally seeing God out there, for no man has seen God at any time, but you see God within you when you look in the mirror. Don't you love that? So just for a minute, I'm watching and hopping over here to the chapter on having a grateful heart. Plato said, a grateful heart eventually attracts to itself great things. That goes way back before the Fillmores. Plato said, and how very important that is, a man was told by his doctor that he had 6 months to live. It was a shocking discovery of an incurable condition. One might expect him to have an emotional collapse, but not this man. He went to work the next morning as usual. His co-workers heard about the pronouncement, and they were shocked that he was there and that he was dying, and they hovered around morbidly commiserating with him. Someone asked, what will you do? He said, I will do what I've always done. I will live with a grateful heart, one day at a time. What a wonderful way to think about as we leave this life. He could be grateful for the isness, what is, in his life. In the Grateful Heart chapter, God is the source of a mighty stream of substance, and you're a tributary of that stream, a channel of expression. Blessing the substance increases its flow. If your money supply is low or your purse seems empty, take it in your hands, hold it to your heart, and bless it. See it filled with living substance, like blessing that penny. When you prepare your meals, bless your food. You know, I know that James likes to talk about KK, and in his absence, I will fill in. Little KK is 3, and since she was 2 and was talking, when they sit down to eat, they hold their hands over their plates, and they do a little blessing, and at the end, KK says, "Yay, God." That is her prayer. She knows how to do that. Recently, she gathered all of her stuffed animals and put them all together and sat down in front of them with her little legs crossed and was just sitting there. And her mommy said, "What are you doing?" And she was just kind of looked at mommy. She said, "Are you grateful?" And KK said, "For fun." And she said, "Be grateful for fun." And she said, "Animals." And Kyler said, "Be grateful for animals." And so what do we say now? And she put her hands over them and she said, "Yay, God." We need to do a little bit more of that. We need to reach our hands over our blessings and hold them to our hearts and say, "Yay, God." So, in Security in a Changing World, Victor Hugo wrote a poem, and the author of Spiritual Economics, Eric Butterworth, long time minister, Unity minister in New York. I got to hear him in New York one Sunday and has passed on. But Victor Hugo wrote this: "Be like the bird that pausing in her flight, while on boughs too slight, feels them give way beneath her, and yet she sings, knowing that she hath wings." Isn't it magnificent? Magnificent. I love that. So as you can see on the screen, I love P words. I don't know why. I love those words: positivity, peaceful, purpose, practice, prayer, prepared, principles, pretty, powerful, purposeful, pushing onward. I love P words. I don't know why, I just like P words. So that's why I decided to talk about this today. And about the divine prosperity that comes to us with those P words. I ask you to make yourselves a list of P words, okay? So our goal, just with this talk today and with what is coming, is to become so deeply entrenched and immersed in spiritual principle that we live it, without having to stop and think about it. Not having to remind ourselves all the time that we live it every day of our lives. And it takes practice, but we need to know that the universe, our subconscious mind, hears everything we think, and it hears everything we say. Some of you have heard me talk about in some of my other gratitude talks in the past about listening to my grandchildren and my sons, the things that they say. And my son Jerry, my firstborn, is about my age now. And I mean, seriously, occasionally we're walking along at a craft fair holding hands, and a guy said, "Bring your wife over here and buy her a T-shirt." Jerry said, "This is my mother." I said, "Shut up, Jerry." Right? So, but Jerry, he was very prone to say, "My toenail is killing me. I have a headache that's just killing me. This job is killing me." And I said, "Jerry, you're going to keep saying that till you're dead. You know, change your words. You know, change your words to, I am powerful and strong and I can do this job. I am happy and joyful in every moment of my life." The secret is to catch yourself so that you change what you are saying. And I've stayed on him long enough, and I don't hear that from him anymore. Very few people die from a toenail. So the other quick trick I want to share with you is to remember to cancel the negatives. You say cancel. When a negative thought crosses your mind, I do like this. Cancel. Cancel, cancel, cancel. You know, as most of you know, and some of you may not, my husband Randy and I have a significant age difference. I found him when he was 24 and I was 44. And everybody said that will never last. On the 2nd of May, we will have been married 29 years. My beloved. And we do pray together. We pray before we eat. People have fallen out of that habit, but we just, a short, simple, hold hands, a little prayer when we eat. He reminds me to stop reminding myself that I'm getting old. He thinks I'm going to live to be 120 and that he'll catch up with me, but to be seen. But he strives to remind me, you should see the bowls of vitamins that I get every day. He is going to keep me going one way or the other. But he reminds me who teach, who teach and say to you today, watch your words, watch what you say to yourself. I was talking to my sister on the phone yesterday, and she said, I am getting so fat, I hate looking at myself. And I said, let's talk about that a minute. Go stand in front of the mirror with your cell phone and say to yourself, I am healthy, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am capable of keeping and preserving this beautiful body. And then you have to believe it. It's not like you just made it up. So, all right, so Butterworth was not big on symbols. And please, I hope it's in the bookstore. If not, she will get it for you if you haven't read it. I am big on symbols, like holding the penny, holding the nickel, the quarter, okay? So I want to give you some prosperity reminders, and then I'm going to ask a guest to come up and tell you her experience with unity and with how prosperity consciousness changed her life and her business. And after she tells you her story, I'm going to witness for her a little bit. But these are the things I'm going to ask you to practice just to get your mind in gear with this message. When you write a check, if you're like me and you're old-fashioned, when you write a check, on the memo line, I put TYG. What does that mean? Thank you, God, that I have the money in the bank to write this check and to pay this bill or to buy this thing, right? Okay. I told you about the money on the ground. I keep the cash in my wallet in denomination order, so when I open it, the big bills are the closest to me. I like the big bills. I like dollars too, but I like 20s and 50s and 100s. All right? And I put it where when I open the wallet, not only do I see the big denomination, I see these words. What? In God we trust. Don't turn your money around where you see the dollar symbol. Turn it back this way where you see in God we trust, and we bless that. I have a friend who makes little dollar hearts, and I meant to get one out of my wallet to show you today, but she takes dollar bills, and she's losing her vision, and she's done this for years, and she creates these little origami hearts out of crisp $1 bills. If you were a volunteer back 5-6 years ago, I gave all the volunteers at our volunteer service that little heart. So I buy more from her so that I can bless others with it. I was in an airport up in the Northeast before pandemic, and I was by myself waiting for a plane, and I decided to eat lunch in a little seafood restaurant because it was in Boston. It was lovely. And the food server was a very nice lady. She was pretty quiet and whatever. And I said, what's going on with you today? She said, I've just recently buried my only child, my adult son, my only child. And I said, well, I'm going to say a blessing over you, but I have a little gift for you. And I pulled out one of those from my wallet, and I said, place your hand here. And I put it, and there's Debbie's got hers right there, carrying it in her wallet. And I said, this will bless you, and this is blessing his spirit right this very day. That we can do things for others to raise their consciousness. Never say I'm broke or I'm poor. Not even just joking, I'm too broke to buy that. I'm too poor to, one of Elizabeth Taylor's husbands, I can't remember that one's name, but he said, I may be broke, but I'll never be poor, right? And so I don't even like, I may be broke, but anyway. So give, share, tip. I have a girlfriend, she's not in good health right now, but we used to lunch a lot. And one year we saw 52 movies in 52 weeks. because we just took the time to do that, and we saved the stubs so that we. But when we would go to lunch and we would pay for our ticket, she said, "You tip too much. That's way too much money. Don't give. You need to take more out of that." And I said to her one day, "Who do you think needs this extra $5 more? A young woman who's probably single with a child, standing on her feet, waiting on tables, or a young man who's working his way through school, serving food in a restaurant? Who needs the $5 more?" And it has blessed my soul to do that for so many years, and I'm so happy about it. So what I learned is that clutching your money to your chest with iron fists blocks the flow. Be a giver. And so being very careful what you put out to the universe, I would like for you to hear Lisa Benson's story. Lisa, come on up. And she's going to be brief. Well, be brief. She's got 5 minutes. This girl can talk fast, okay? So thank you. Welcome, Lisa.
And thank you for letting me share my message, my story, my experience. Randy always, I go to lunch with these folks, and Randy kind of looks at me and goes, "Lisa, tell them your story." You know, so this is like my repetitive story, but now it's been 20 years. To September of 2021 will be 20 years. So I joined Unity in 1998, and a year later I tried to join the church, and I was wanted to be a board member, wanted to participate, wanted to give back to the community. And I stood there in my interview, and Anne to this day still harasses me. She says, "Yeah, Lisa came in to join the Unity board and then told everybody, I don't really believe in these principles, but because, you know, I'm still a Presbyterian." I know, right? I mean, seriously. And I look back with horror. I'm like, my life-changing experience in my spiritual home here at Unity. And by the way, Anne, I am still not really to this day a Lutheran, but I'm a Unitini or Unitic or whatever we all want to tie that to. So in 2001, I had started my technology company in 1999 with my girlfriend, partner, life partner. And it was always my dream, because I come from an entrepreneurial family, and it was always my dream to be a successful entrepreneur. And in 2001, when September 11th occurred and the planes hit the buildings, our business was active for a year and a half, and the phone stopped ringing. And there I was, it was the 4T class, but it was the new version. It was called Spiritual Energy of Money. And on that Tuesday, after 3 weeks of not receiving a phone call, not receiving $1 in the mail, and this is at the end of September, and here we were, I was like, I stood in front of the spiritual class on Tuesday night, and I said during the prayer request, if y'all can just please hold in your hearts this little internet company, it's really a big deal, you know. We need $10,000 by Friday. My rent is due, my technology, my electric bill was due, my internet bill was due. I need $10,000 by Friday, or we're going to go broke. And there I stood there and I said, we have been in business for a year and a half, and I know that this is really what's meant to be. I know we have a purpose, it's meant to be. Friday at 10 o'clock in the morning, this guy that I've been calling on for the last 18 months, every 6 months, he calls me in for a meeting. Lisa, I want to talk about this intranet project. Lisa, and you know, this was something that was so beyond our scope and our ability. And he said, just come and see me. That Friday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, this guy Dave calls me and he goes, Lisa, I don't know what just happened, but the CFO of the company, Paul, told me, get Lisa Benson on the telephone and let's build that intranet. It's time. How much that money was? It was a $20,000 project with a $10,000 down payment. 16 years later, in 2015, the company was $4.3 million in revenues. Lee and I bought out we went through mergers, we went through acquisitions. In 2005, I had acquired 3 companies in 2005. I was on my hands and knees. I was begging God for, please give me direction. I know that this company is meant to be. I know. And who do I meet that year in 2007 is Bhante Wimala, the Buddhist monk. who has now been my personal friend and spiritual associate for, 12 years, let's see, 15, so 16 years, I guess, but it's just kind of, every day, every single day, in my heart of hearts, God, through me, blesses and multiplies. Every time I do my meditation, my blessings, my prayers, my everything, my heart, every day, it's bring down from the universe. The love of light of God passes through me. It's due to my feet to the ground. Let that love, that creation, that spiritual base, and let me have so much that every person that I interact with, every person that I touch, everything, I have so much bounty and so much belief that it comes through me and I pass it back to, as I breathe all of the manifestation of everybody who has come before me who was impacted with their spiritual giving and everything that you can do, it's participating and it's engaging and believing. And there's never a day. And people look at me like I dance on the head of a pin. I'm in real estate. I sold my company. I'm building apartments for people to live in. And I'm a general contractor at this point, a really tiny one, It's the party of one, please have this table. But, right now I'm out, I ended up out in Eastland. I'm working with the economic development group of a very, very small town of 4,000 people. I'm doing 5 buildings in the downtown district, historic buildings, and I have 22 different various contractors that are now working with me, and we're working together. And I have this one little contractor, he keeps looking at me and he keeps going, Lesa, you always make it look so easy. And I'm like, it is easy. And he goes, no, when is it all going to fall apart? And I said, it's not going to fall apart. Well, every week, when is this all going to fall apart? It's just too easy. And I said, son, okay, if God wants us to do this, we will do it with ease. We will do it with ease. If it's meant to be, we will do it with ease. And that's just exactly what it is. And when Anne talks about all these little tools, if you truly believe in your heart, it's not a tool anymore. It's a way of life.
Amen. Amen. God bless you. Just wanted you to see a little proof. I will tell you something about Lesa. I call her the girl that everything she touches turns to gold. I mean, she has been a phenomenal success. As a matter of fact, you all may remember 2001, we had a yard sale. Who was around for the yard sale in 2000? Well, not many of you. We made $40,000 in one Saturday, but for 3 weeks before that, we collected donations. We had the big White House back then, and we filled that place with donations. And Lesa and Lee came, and they decided they would be the technology table, because people donated computers and laptops and all this stuff, and they worked their tails off, and I still remember, and bless you so much, your contribution to that $40,000. And when I tell this story to James, he says, let's have another one. Of course. And so with all that, Stephen, I'm going to ask you to come up. Stephen is our poet laureate here at Unity of Dallas. I asked him to write a poem on prosperity, and he's always quick to comply because he is a prolific poem writer. And so let us share with you today this new poem.
Prosperity Plan. Prosperity is part of my mantra that I affirm each and every day, looking for the signs and signals that will direct me in that perfect unity way. Though some may equate it only with money, not to mention great abundance and wealth, however, it is more about prayers answered for happiness as well as good health.
The many forms in which it shows up are almost impossible to define or explain, and yet it can appear in our lives daily in the form of something simple and plain.
So try counting those miracle moments when prosperity shows up in your life, and consider those sweet days of perfection that were flawless and free of strife.
I'm in the same place. Yes, I'm good. It is forever the desired consciousness we affirm to thrive within our souls, something that we can pray for daily and quietly watch it manifest and unfold.
A life filled with success and prosperity is what I know we visualize to live. And I know from past experience, it all depends on how much you're willing to give.
And so affirm it to God daily and dwell in that positive land and say it to yourself for all of eternity that this is precisely my lifelong plan. Thank you, Stephen. Isn't that fabulous? Thank you, sir. Okay. And so let's close with a brief meditation, as we always do at Unity of Dallas, and take these thoughts deep into your minds as you take a deep breath, breathing in the breath of God and breathing out anything unlike God's perfect nature. Relax your busy mind and stay focused on these statements in meditation. I am always lucky. Great things happen to and for me. I am blessed. Today is my day. I am a success and a joy magnet. I draw to me great things. Money comes to me from many sources. I receive it gratefully and happily. God is my source. The more I give, the more I receive. I keep money in the flow. I keep love in flow. I keep kindness in flow. I enjoy sharing because there is enough for everyone. I am talented and gifted, healthy and loved. I know that Spirit goes before me and makes the crooked places straight. I set my intention. I claim it. I focus on what is right. I visualize it. I believe it, and I receive it. Negative news does not impact me. I stay focused on the good in the universe and in spirit. I contribute to peace with my words, my thoughts, my prayers. I am blessed to be here and now. I am fulfilling my soul's contract on this planet, here and now. Every night as I go to sleep, every morning as I wake up, I do so in gratitude for who I am, for what I have, for what I share, for what life means to me. I live with a grateful heart. And so it is, amen. I want to share with you very quickly in closing, and then Beau's going to come back up. I didn't get to finish the end of the Ellen Davenport story. I'm so watching my time. So I shared with her mine and Randy's thoughts, and maybe we don't have to get, and I talked about the church always needing the money, whatever, and I said, well, you know, once in a while, it's like we've got a bill we need to pay, and then once in a while, I just saw a pair of shoes, and I really wanted that pair of shoes, and they were kind of expensive, and I thought, church or shoes, church or shoes. She said, Anne, you can have both. Change your mindset. Go buy the shoes and write your check Sunday. And so with all of that, welcome back, Beau. God bless you. Thank you for being here today. Thank you, thank you.
Lucky. We are the luckiest people ever. Every single one of you are fortunate because we have each other. We have each other.
We do.
Thank you.
Amen.
And almost, honey. Just really quickly, because you're going to hear somebody wonderful sing. It's the time of the day where we get to give. You have so many opportunities, so many opportunities. You can go online, and it's sign up for the mobile app, text GIVE. What else would you do? At 830-224-2911, and all of this is on the computer. All of this is online. Click to donate the button on the website, unitydallas.org, or mail a check to Anne and to the church. Unity Dallas, 6525 Forest Lane, Dallas, Texas, our home, 75230. Also, don't forget, we have a donation station. As you leave, drop that money in there. So take a second, be grateful, and give from your heart, and join us in our offertory blessing. Divine love has me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Spirit.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world will be as one. Oh, imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No greed, no hunger. A brother and sisterhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Yeah, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I know someday you will join us, and the world will live as one. We'll live as one. I can do it, you can do it, we can do it together. We'll imagine, imagine there's no borders. This isn't hard. Thank you.
Lee Jamison, amazing. And what a perfect song. What a perfect song.
Again, we're the luckiest people alive just to be here. And I'm very quickly going to tell you some Zoom opportunities where we all can give, learn. I'll go fast because it's getting late. The RG2 group today at 12:30 behind the Red House. If you're between 18, 30-ish, they welcome you. Then there's the What is Unity class, the Fifth Amendment, live in Zoom. Divine Sisters, Saturday at 11 with Lesa Walker. They'll be talking about the feminist Fillmore. Was he or wasn't he? And Only If You Knew by Reverend Rose Murgy, if I'm saying that correct, Saturday at noon. Seekers class. This is important. No, sorry, 1 second. The Seekers class next Sunday, 10 a.m. with Barry Teller. And then Seaweed. This is what's important. Tonight at midnight, they raised the price. So you've got to be a part of this. You want to be a part of it. Register online. And that's all we have for you today. And I think that was a lot. James, we miss you. Carla, we miss you. Anne, you were fantastic.
Oh, you just love me.
Eric.
Okay.
He did great.
So as we go forth into a brand new week, we take with us the P words. We add our own. As of today, we are prosperous and we live in peace. And so it is. Amen.